Africa is experiencing a drain as people with highly sought-after skills look for greener pastures outside the country. Corruption and crime are some of the leading factors that make most people move abroad.
The talent pool is already pretty small, and as people move overseas, that pool gets smaller and smaller.
We need to rethink our education system. We need to pause and rethink why has the educational system that we have failed.
The education system in Africa has challenges. Because when you ask anybody, where would you like to do your higher education? Many people will say, I would prefer to go to a university outside of Africa. The number of them leave and don't return. They stay out, and we lose the potential.
There is a bit of a gap between the education system and what goes on in real working world, just to kind of pass exams and move on to the next level and graduate.
Being a student here in Kampala, Uganda, you imagine yourself, you have these dreams in your heart that you know God has placed there to pursue, whether it's starting a new venture, becoming a doctor or a lawyer, or whether it's becoming an educator. You have all of these dreams that God's put in your heart. Get to that place where you're ready to launch into university, and you find that exuberant costs, or it would never be a reality.
So many of our church partners that we work with, we really focused on that sort of crib to college is traditionally where OneHope is focused on. But with rising literacy in a knowledge economy, there was now the need and the ability for young people to actually get a job that wasn't agrarian or manufacturing, but they could actually move into the knowledge economy. But there was not the opportunity for higher education, is what most of our majority world church leaders were saying.
And that conversation started to say, how can we solve the problem? One danger for us is to keep doing what we've always done, where education is all about knowledge and advancing in my career, and is a very selfish thing. It's given us the results that we have as a country. What you end up having is selfish leaders at the top. They're all just thinking about themselves because they have the knowledge and they can advance and they will get the opportunities, but it becomes too selfish.
To be honest, in Africa, most of the businesses that are started here, they die in the first year of their existence. And even more so in a third world country like Uganda, I think you will know that the statistics are very high for corruption and other unethical practices. So it's a very lonely journey, and very rarely will you find business people coming together.
We want to empower men and women of God around the world with the Christ-centered education they need to pursue their God-given mission. And we do that most effectively by partnering with the global church. And so even sitting here in Uganda, our biggest partners in this endeavor, Watoto Church, just bringing about high-quality Christian education and the community side of things. That's so necessary when we talk about online learning to address this issue.
Miscio was very, very convenient for me. I liked the way it was structured, that it was online, and that allowed me as an entrepreneur to be able to do the other things that I was called to do. And also, I found that it was very, very cheap compared to what other universities were charging for a postgraduate or even a master's. A course with Miscio is very practical. Unlike our curriculum here in Uganda, most of it is theoretical. And so what we do have is a number of graduates going into the marketplace, and they're just not skilled enough to be able to carry out day-to-day activities, corporate world. Miscio's knowledge and training are very hands-on and very practical, in spite of it being online.
Last year, somebody mentioned to me about considering a doctoral program with Miscio. That's something that the Lord was impressing on me to do. And I think I got my answer when I was interacting with one of the professors. He mentioned this is about a transformational undertaking, not a transactional one. And I think that's where the light bulb came on. And then I knew this was really about who I should be becoming, not really about what I should get out of this.
If we are going to break the cycle of selfish education, then let's not throw away education. Let's add a missional aspect to education. If every university student was thinking, the day I finish, graduating as a lawyer. It's not about me making money, but me implementing justice for the poor of the poorest. My goodness, that's how healing comes to the cities and the nations.
It has not just prepared me as Joran to just go and say I'm applying here and there, but I get to appreciate the education here at Miscio, that it's need-oriented. As now you've attained your degree here in business and leadership, what is the need in your community as Joran? What is that need? How are you going to be relevant in solving that need?
There's the community of the church, the believers. We share a common faith. We have a common heart. Where there's brokenness, God is always looking for a people to walk through. And we see how he would choose a people and walk through them. So there's the community of the church. But there's the wider community, the world in which we live. If our education, if our pursuits do not address the pain or the challenges or harness the opportunity of the community in which we live, this world with amazing people that God has created, our perspective, our visions are really narrow-minded. I think when we talk about discipleship unlimited to spiritual, we have narrowed it. You can disciple somebody in business by passing on the experience you have had. It would change the world. The other collaborative would be, can we do something together that can change a certain community's outlook on life for the sake of the kingdom of God?
Then we found mentors within the Watoto community that were willing to come alongside these students and really apply and contextualize the U.S. accredited degree to the business system, the education system, the entrepreneurial realities that exist in a place like Uganda. Our greatest resources are sitting in our pews, and they're not being effectively deployed to take the giftings, the talent, the experience they have, and use it to solve those big kingdom problems. And so we just see this as a way to activate the priesthood of every believer in a very tangible and a very practical way.
Impacted with the right knowledge, and not just the right knowledge, it's for purpose. It's preparing you for purpose. So for me now, it has prepared me to look at things different.
It's refreshing to have a church and a school that's looking to add value to you as opposed to getting something from you.
To take that which I have learned over the years and be able to contextualize it, a scholarly point of view in terms of knowledge, but also from a biblical point of view.
I just feel very privileged and honored. I could never have imagined that starting this journey with Miscio would have led me down this path. I almost feel like it was, orchestrated by God.
To be rescued means to be part of the rescue squad now. And for me, that is now a big burden in my heart. Every time I see a need in my community, it now burdens me to be a part of that change, to be a part of that solution, to be the problem a solver in my community.
Changing minds, changing ideology, changing worldviews about how businesses should be run.
Business alone cannot change community. Education alone cannot change community. The lawyers alone cannot change community. But put lawyers, doctors, business folks, teachers, all operating at their full capacity, we will disciple the nations. One single church can change a country. You gotta work together. It's the same in the marketplace. Collaboration will not just make one better, but all of us better. Alone, I can do much, but together we can change the world.